Hair loss is not the reason we are losing hair. We have been focusing on the wrong problem for decades. When I first heard this, I was also surprised, but today, I am more convinced than ever this is true. According to research by the University of California, the problem with hair loss actually has very little to do with hair loss, and is mostly due to a problem with a small bundle of cells just under our hair follicles. It is a bold claim, but follow me for this short presentation to discover how I went bald at 25, lost all my confidence, my girlfriend, and was about to lose everything else too. And today at 39, I am sporting a thick head of hair that is the envy of my peers, without ever having a hair procedure or hiding under wigs or hair fibers. All done using the principles of that breakthrough research by the University of California. You will also learn how I am helping men and women of all ages and hair types reverse engineer my method affordably and effectively, to rediscover their best hair. As we speak, big companies are working behind the scenes to patent this breakthrough and relaunch a watered-down version, with an extortionate price tag. Perhaps in 8 or 10 years. But follow this short presentation, and discover how I applied this method immediately, fully and safely. Hi, my name is Alex. I am a 40-year-old from a small town in the south of England called Brighton. I work as an IT professional and I live with my girlfriend, and our lively Cocker Spaniel, Benny. I am not some smart scientist or health expert. I am just a normal guy who suddenly went bald at 25, lost all his confidence, his girlfriend, and was on the verge of losing everything else. I was desperate for a solution, and at that point, I was ready to give everything I had to get my hair back. As ridiculous as it may seem now, I actually sold my car to fund my hair loss fight as my desperation spiraled out of control. I remember the first day I realized I was going bald like it was yesterday. The worst day of my life started with an innocent haircut. My hair was long at the time and I wasn't into hairstyles much. I kept my haircuts simple with a short back and sides, number 3 to the sides and back, and a number 5 to the top. I used my trusty wild clipper to do it myself at home, and got my girlfriend to tidy the back for me. That Saturday morning in 2008 was another typical haircut day. I went into the bathroom and clipped my hair down. Then I called my girlfriend to help me with the back of my head. And that's when she uttered words that hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. "Alex, you're going bald." "What?" I said in shock, while snatching the mirror from her hand and positioning it behind me to see what she was talking about. I couldn't see anything, so I grabbed my phone and passed it to her. "Here, take a picture of it." She spent what felt like eternity taking the picture. "Come on, babe. It's not a photo shoot for Vogue. Take the bloody picture." I muttered as my anxiety betrayed me. When she eventually showed the picture, my anxiety turned to horror. There was a gaping hole at the top of my scalp the size of a lemon, with barely any hair. It seems my long hair was hiding a dirty secret. I remember wishing I never cut my hair because the thought of walking around with this bald patch was unbearable. What would I say to my friends and work colleagues? What will my girlfriend think? In fact, will she even want to stay with me? I remember standing in the shower that evening and crying, and turning the shower to the highest setting so the noise of the water would drown out my sobbing. I am not sure what the tears were. Perhaps tears of shock, perhaps despair, or maybe sadness. But probably all three. The next day I raced to my nearest pharmacy and bought Rogaine and a bunch of supplements recommended online. And I spent that week glued to my computer reading every shred of information I could find on treating hair loss. Over the subsequent months I tried every hair loss solution I could get my hands on, everything from weird pills, to foul-smelling hair serums to shampoos made in countries I couldn't even pronounce. And after none of it worked, I moved on to more expensive and experimental treatments like PRP, where your scalp is pumped with a mixture of blood and plasma. That didn't work either and left my scalp bruised and smelling like dogshit. I even paid over £3,000 for a round of laser hair treatment in Mexico. I had to sell my car to fund this latest hair adventure, and I remember sitting in a doctor's chair in downtown Mexico City, with a red light shining on my head, and thinking, this is insane. To make matters worse, on returning to the UK, I came home to find my girlfriend had moved out. She gave me the "we drifted apart" speech. But ever since my hair loss became obvious, her interest has fallen off a cliff, so I saw this coming. Our intimacy went from almost daily to barely once a week. Even the hand-holding stopped. In fact, she would always position her shoulder bag to be between us when walking, to stop us holding hands. So deep in my subconscious I knew this day was coming. I remember spending the next week in deep depression. By now, I had accepted my fate. I accepted that I will be completely bald within 2 or 3 years, and it was about doing my best to laugh off the baldy and cue ball jokes for the rest of my life. Fast forward 14 years, I am now 39 and enjoying the thickest, strongest and longest hair I've ever had, without expensive hair transplants or needing to hide under wigs or hair fibers. My breakthrough came with an innocent conversation I had with a friend in a pub. He was also struggling with hair loss, but unlike me he was winning. So I pressed him for his secret. He eventually grabbed a napkin and wrote down a phone number, and told me to call that number and make an appointment. "What's this?" I said with a puzzled look on my face. "It's the hair clinic that is looking after me. They use this new system. Give it a shot, but I am warning you it's not cheap." Great, another expensive adventure, I thought to myself. What shall I sell now? My house, shoes, the dog? But I needn't have worried, because the phone number on that dirty napkin was the start of my journey to not only reversing my hair loss, but regaining my confidence, self-worth, and even bagging a girlfriend would normally be way out of my league. What I discovered made me realize everything we've been told about hair loss was a complete lie. I wasted months and thousands of my hard-earned money when the solution was right under my nose all along. And the system is so easy that anyone, regardless of age or hair type, can start applying it right away. You see, the pharma industry is always focusing our attention on stopping or slowing down the hair loss. This will sound strange to most people, but our fixation with slowing down hair loss is killing us. Yes, that probably makes no sense to anyone reading this, but this was truly the breakthrough for me, and this has been backed by recent scientific discoveries. Hair loss is not our main problem when it comes to reversing baldness and thinning. There is a much bigger problem lurking in the shadows. The average hair follicle lives for 3 to 7 years. That's a very long time if you think about it. So loss of hair follicles is not our biggest issue. It is the slowdown in hair growth that is so much more destructive. In fact, science has proven many decades ago that the first stage in hair loss is actually a slowdown in the rate of growth. So it is critical we tackle sluggish hair growth as a #1 priority. But most hair loss experts preach that it's all about slowing down or stopping hair loss. They prescribe a bunch of hormone blockers in an effort to keep the client's hair, even if this is thin, wispy hair that you can barely see. What's the point of keeping that kind of hair? In a breakthrough study in 2021, scientists in the University of California finally proved there is such a thing as a hair growth switch, which is there regardless of age, gender or hair type. They called this switch SCUBE3. And leading hair loss experts are now suggesting hair loss starts when SCUBE3 is switched off, leading to slow growth. And if we can switch SCUBE3 back on, then anyone can regrow a thick jungle of hair almost at will. The question is, how do I switch on SCUBE3? Before I answer that question, let me tell you the problem with current hair loss solutions on the market and why they just don't work for most men or women. The problem is actually not in the products themselves. Some of them have been proven with high-level scientific research. For example, there is no doubt Rogaine works. The science is very clear. Same thing with Proscar and certain hair growth supplements, and even some shampoos. They all work for some people. But why is this? Why do these products work well for some people and not for others? Well, research into SCUBE3 has given us the answer. It is so simple, yet so incredibly effective. And in this presentation, I will give you the exact method I followed to reclaim every strand of my best hair. The key to maximizing hair growth is to use all these ingredients together. To stack them up in a precise way to unleash hair growth. This has given birth to the stacking method. The reason most people don't see results with hair growth products is probably because they are not using them together effectively. They try one product at a time. The breakthrough research by the University of California has proven triggering hair growth is very complex. It requires multiple hair-growing ingredients to be combined in a precise way to unleash hair growth. When I applied the stacking method, the results were nothing short of spectacular. In the first month, all hair shedding almost vanished. No matter how much I pull and tug on my hair, it wouldn't budge. After 3 months, the embarrassing thin patch on top of my head was visibly darker. At 6 months you couldn't even see it, and my hair at the front was also creeping forward with longer, sturdier hair. And at 12 months, some of my friends would playfully tug at my hair and tell me to take the wig off. Except I wasn't wearing a wig. This was all my natural hair. Thicker, longer and even darker than it was just a few months before. The effect on my personal and work life has been spectacular too. After playing the field for a few months with my newfound confidence, I started seeing an attractive air hostess who would normally be way out of my league. In fact, she approached me in our first encounter, which I don't think would have happened if I was visibly balding. I've been promoted several times at work too. I don't know if this is linked to my hair, but I definitely noticed more respect from work colleagues and bosses when I have long thick hair. For example, I am asked to lead on projects more, asked for my opinion more in meetings, and even when I make a mistake it gets glossed over quickly by my bosses. It seems so shallow that all this can be due to some hair on your head, but there is plenty of research which backs up this idea. Now, let's go back to my original question on how to switch SCUBE3 on and skyrocket hair growth. Well, it all started at that hair loss clinic my friend recommended. Initially, nothing they did made sense and every visit was costing me over $100. And that's before I paid for all the products they prescribed for me. I didn't even know what half of these products were. I just trusted the experts. But one thing I liked is that the products were custom made for each client. Very few were off the shelf. It just gave me a feeling that these people knew what they were doing, and given the regime was expensive, this softened the blow somewhat. One day I had a chat with the compounding pharmacist at the clinic, and I remember him mentioning that they formulate products straight off the latest research. They spend many hours every week scouring the scientific journals to find hidden gems. They weren't recycling the same tired old hair loss products everyone else was trying and failing with. My regime initially consisted of 1 tablet twice a day, followed by applying 3 different lotions morning, afternoon and evening. The pharmacist told me they see the best results when people stack several ingredients at precise dosages. And they make sure they never publish their formula anywhere. It is a closely guarded secret. And as I sat in the waiting room of the clinic, I couldn't help but notice that the numbers were evenly split. 50% were men and 50% were women. I even talked to some of the clients about their journey. And one thing every single one told me was that they were using the stacking system. No one was using anything less than 3 products. And it was working because some people had a thick jungle of hair that made you question what the hell they were doing in a hair clinic in the first place. Many of those people were incredibly wealthy, judging by what they drove. The car park was always packed with Bentleys, Ferraris and Rolls Royces. My friends thought my regime was far too complicated. Even the ones who were thinning mocked me for being a walking pharmacy, with all my bottles and lotions. But as time went on, and my hair got thicker and longer, the mocking stopped. And was replaced with questions about what I am using and where they can get it. In reality, however, despite my wonderful results, it was not financially sustainable for me to spend over $200 a month on these products. I needed the same results but for much cheaper and simpler, so I approached the pharmacist at the clinic for help. I developed a good relationship with him over the preceding months, so I was hopeful he would help. I asked him if I could have the stacking formula I was using. But to my surprise, he quickly brushed me off and told me he would be breaking his contract if he shared such information. I knew there was no point pestering him, so I left the conversation. But the following month, when I came in to collect my next batch of products, the pharmacist asked me, "Are you still looking for that formula?" "Yes," I replied. He went to the back of his office and came back with a thick bundle of papers and handed them over to me. "What's this?" I asked with a puzzled frown on my forehead. He told me these were research papers containing all the products they use at the clinic, complete with precise strengths and dosages. These are publicly available, so he wouldn't be breaking any contracts with his workplace. He even helpfully highlighted key passages to focus my attention. This was the key to discovering the nuts and bolts of the stacking method that has been so successful for me. Over the next few weeks, I tried every website, shop and pharmacy to try and get the ingredients I needed cheaply, but it proved impossible. The ingredients were either impossible to find, or if I found them they were the wrong strength. Most also had questionable purity and origins. Frustrated and disheartened, I reached out to the pharmacist at the clinic. To my surprise, he told me he now left that clinic and was free to help me more extensively. Of course, I jumped at the chance. I told him I wanted to replicate the stacking formula I was getting from the clinic using affordable ingredients, and as naturally as possible. This is when he dropped a bombshell on me. "You won't be able to do this without creating your own custom formula," he said. He explained that I was wasting my time trying to shop around for the ingredients using products already on the market. Most of these products lack the quality, purity and precise strength required to match what I was getting at the clinic. Creating a custom product would initially be expensive, but it would pay off in the long run. "How expensive?" I asked. "You will be lucky if you can do this for under $15,000. He replied. I was crushed. I didn't have that kind of money. Nowhere near. To my amazement, the pharmacist offered to set me up with manufacturing companies who could allow me to spread the cost over smaller batches. These manufacturers only deal with elite hair loss clinics and science labs. They wouldn't even respond to a random guy like me. With the pharmacist's help, I spent the following week customizing the formula to send to the manufacturers, complete with precise breakdown of every ingredient to the last milligram. Once my pharmacist friend gave the green light to the formula, I was finally able to send it over to the manufacturers. Honestly, I owe that man so much. Over the next few months, I worked every night after work on this side project. Everything from securing the funds to designing the labels was down to me. I barely slept 5 hours every night for weeks on end. I had so many setbacks, and several times I came very close to throwing in the towel. But every time I had those thoughts, I remembered what having great hair had done to my confidence and happiness, and I quickly got back to work with renewed vigor and determination. I also felt I wasn't doing this just for myself, but potentially for millions of men and women who could benefit from this product. I was doing it for them too. After months of graft, the product was finally ready. I called it foligrow, a completely natural stack of 21 proven hair growing ingredients, which were the foundation to my own success. Every ingredient sourced from the highest quality origins and manufactured in a world-class facility just outside Atlanta, Georgia. None of the ingredients are GMO, none are habit-forming, and all are free from stimulants. I remember being so incredibly nervous the first day I received my own shipment of foligrow, and started using it in place of my expensive hair clinic kit. Would it work, or will all the hair I regrew over the years start falling in clumps? It wasn't just my hair at stake, but also my career, confidence and even love life. I was putting it all on the line. I remember waking up every morning and obsessively checking every hair and every inch of my scalp. But I needn't have worried, because my hair growth on foligrow actually accelerated compared to what I was having from the hair clinic. Even the couple of gray hairs poking out of the right side of my scalp disappeared. I was ecstatic, and I was so proud that the months of hard work have paid off. To test the product worked for others, I offered it as a trial to some hair loss clinics which my pharmacist friend connected me with. This would also be a good way to generate some revenue because I still owed the manufacturers a big sum of money. They would offer it to their clients and see how well it sells. I waited nervously for 3 long months. Slowly, each clinic started calling me back asking for more foligrow. They were selling and selling fast. I was absolutely ecstatic. I was so proud something I built was actually helping people. In fact, one clinic told me foligrow was doing so well they wanted to sign an exclusive deal to stock it. But I declined. I didn't want foligrow to become another hair loss product only available to people who drive Bentleys. I want foligrow to be available to the average man and woman anywhere in the world. After I officially launched foligrow online, the feedback continued to be beyond my expectation.
Can you believe this is my own hair? I'm almost 60, and it's thicker and stronger than my 15-year-old niece. It's amazing.
When I started balding in my 30s, I thought, well, this is it. This is where my happiness ends. But look at me now. No balding spot, no receding hairline, and my hair is stronger than ever before. I feel and look better than I did when I was in my 30s.
My hair is thicker than ever, has more body, and grows like a rocket.
As far as I know, foligrow is the only hair growth product in the world built with the aim of triggering SCUBE3, the body's own natural hair growth switch. And it does this by stacking the power of vitamins, minerals, herbs and essential oils into one precise knockout kit. Simply, I don't know of any other hair growth supplement in the world that employs this stacking system, which is normally only available through outrageously expensive hair loss clinics. In fact, I could easily charge $120 for each bottle of foligrow and it would still be a bargain compared to what they charge for the exact same product in those top hair loss clinics. But I am not charging that, or anything close. What I am charging just covers the cost of the ingredients and manufacturing. Because I want to offer this product to as many people as possible, so that no one is ever priced out of good hair loss treatment just because they don't drive a Bentley. Because foligrow is so custom made, it takes a long time to manufacture each batch. So it is usually out of stock for weeks, which is why I urge you to grab as many bottles as you can right now. The first 6 months are the most vital when using foligrow. This is when the groundwork is laid, and the old weak hair is slowly phased out for stronger, sturdier hair. So it is critical you don't have any gaps in using foligrow during this foundation phase. Once you are over the first 6 months, you can take more breaks if you wish because your hair is strong enough to cope. Another reason foligrow frequently goes out of stock is because the big pharma companies buy out the active ingredients in huge bulks. And of course I can never compete with their enormously deep pockets. Foligrow is not sold anywhere else except on the official website, foligrow.com. And that's where you will find the best price too. Anyone who buys foligrow today will enjoy an ironclad 60-day money-back guarantee. If for whatever reason, you want a full refund, all you have to do is ask within the first 2 months, and you will get back every penny, no questions asked. So right now, you have 2 options. Close this video and move on. Perhaps try another failed Amazon hair growth shampoo or supplement made in China. Or click the link below this video and start your journey to thicker, longer and healthier hair today. Just like thousands of men and women of all ages and hair types have done this year.